This is Living Well Women, holistic living for sisters over 40. Happiness is holistic. It's multifaceted. It's physical. It's internal. It's my diet and my emotional state. It's all tied in together. Michelle Obama. This is a show for sisters, about sisters, by me and my sisters, Dr. Javon James, Keisha Dixon, and C. Renee Washington. I am Linus Woods Mullins, and we are Women Living Well.
We're here. We're happy. It's Living Well Woman. And we are the Fab Four. I am C. Renee Washington. Is there an echo?
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
No,
Okay. This is C. Renee Washington. Let me close out of everything to be sure I'm not messing up anything. Uh-oh. This is C. Renee Washington. We are here for Living Well Woman. And we are so excited. I am a master certified life coach and the mindset maven and creator of the Midlife Manifest Sister Mind. And I am here with my sisters, the fabulous Dr. Javon James.
Hi. I'm Javon James of Everyday Peace with Dr. Javon James. I am an author, speaker, and a keynote. I'm sorry, it's late. Wow, I forgot. I'm super excited to be here with you all this evening.
Yes, yes. And the inspiration for all of this fabulousness is Linus Woods Mullins.
Hey, everybody. I'm Linus Woods Mullins. I'm a certified holistic living and life coach, and I am also the creator of Living Well Women, the talk show host and producer of Wellness Journey, and also the author of a brand new book that just came out, Power Up Superwoman, and a bunch of other stuff that I can't think of right now. Oh, the magazine, Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond magazine.
Thank so much. And last but not least, our tapping queen, Ms. Keisha Dixon.
Hi, I'm Keisha Dixon. Can you guys see me? Because I'm looking at a black screen. You can?
Yes. Yes.
I can see you. Yes.
Okay, great. I'm looking at a black screen. I'm Keisha Dixon, the tapping queen, creator of the Monetize Your Mind Success System, and author of Visibility Vixen for Sisters and White Girls too. And I wanted to say hello to Deborah and Carolyn. Thank you for joining us. And if you're watching, comment hello.
Yes, let us know you're here and share. You know,
share, please. Yes.
Yes. Tell your friends to join because as I posted in my group, it's going to be on and popping tonight. I'm going to try to stay calm because tonight's topic.
Don't stay calm. Don't stay calm.
No disclaimers. Just go with it.
I want to say right now, as a disclosure,
yes.
See my face, and in my head, I'm hearing my mother say, fix your face, fix your face.
I know, right?
Because I know this topic is going to have my face looking away.
Yes. Because the topic is respect. RESPECT.
Find out what it means to me.
Yes. Specifically as it relates to caregiving. And we're talking about the show the story that's been out in the media with B. Smith. And for those of you who do not know who B. Smith is, she is a former model, restaurateur, lifestyle guru. She was tagged as, and she tagged herself this. I really don't like comparing people to other people, but she tagged herself as the Black Martha Stewart. And she used to have a lifestyle show on television, just the epitome of style, grace, and beauty. And success. And success. Yeah, success. I mean, she had a line in Bed Bath & Beyond. She was doing the thing. And tragically was, she's been suffering with early onset Alzheimer's. And I think she... I saw her husband on The View today. We'll get to that in a minute. But I think it became public in around 2008, 2009. But he said that she, first started exhibiting signs as early as 2005. And so the topic today, we want to talk about caregiving and boundaries. because what has been happening is he has been all over social media and on talk shows about B. Smith and his girlfriend. So a few years ago, hey Grace.
Thank you, Grace.
Hey, Grace.
Yes, we are a blast of energy. You are correct.
And it's going to become more energetic as the night.
Just let you know, explosion is coming.
Yes. And so they wrote a book a few years ago when she was, after she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Oh my gosh, I meant to write down the name of the book. But he says that, she wanted the story told. And I understand that. But what the controversy has been about is his seeming need to show B in this deteriorating state. Well, that's one thing. And to show his new lifestyle. So that's what our conversation mainly is about, is where should lines be drawn? And I will just say up front, I am probably one of the most non-judgmental people you'll ever meet, but we all judge. And so what I'm not judging him around is the need for companionship. I can understand that. My frustration with him is around why we all have to know. Why do we have to know about what's going on in his life with B? Why does he have to show B in this state? And why does he have to show B being led around by his new girlfriend? It's just the height of disrespect for me. Yeah.
I ran across this story by accident when I was doing some research on something else, because I really don't read a whole lot of celebrity gossip and stuff like that. I don't have time for it. But when I stumbled upon it, then I got hooked because I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. And the reason why I couldn't believe it is that I didn't tell you guys this because once I got on the air, I met B and her husband at their restaurant in Union Square in DC.
Yeah.
Okay. They had a private party there. It was a reception, and I was the guest of someone else. I didn't really know anybody there. I'm from California. Didn't know anybody. But anyway, I was hobnobbing, okay? And the reason why it was so hard for me to believe was that he was extremely attentive to her, and she had not been diagnosed then at that time. But when I look back at it, they knew something was going on, but they hadn't come out publicly with it because she was there, but there was this look in her eye that sometimes you wonder if she was if when you were talking to her, was she understanding everything? And that was before it got really bad. So when her book came out, talking about it, I all of a sudden was like, oh, okay. Now I read the book and I was looking for it earlier this morning. I couldn't find it, but nowhere in that book, when they talked, and they said they talked about everything in terms of how the progression of the disease and what they were going to do as the disease progressed. But nowhere in that book did I see, and it's okay for you to move in your, I say, white girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay, and have a podcast with her, and then broadcast it all over social media with my hair looking a hot mess and being led around by her, and she's cooking in my kitchen and all this other stuff, like she's gone. Right. And his rationale for it is that a man needs companionship, plus the fact it was okay with her that he did this. I don't know how he knew that. And also, well, she's not here anyway. She doesn't know what's going on anyway. And I just thought that was just so the epitome of disrespect and how embarrassed, because the woman that I met was a proud woman. She was very gracious, very, very gracious, gorgeous, beautiful, poised. And there's no way in the world I can imagine that she would have been, yes, more. I just can't imagine that she'd be happy with it.
Yeah. And there are several issues here. So, Dr. Drayvon, how would you like to weigh in on that? And can she hear me? Can Drayvon hear me?
I think our connection is having a little issue. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just want to say this. I first heard of the story last week when we talked here, and I only have seen one little bit of it. It didn't grab me as something that I would gravitate to as a story, but I was interested in it because of the issue of early onset Alzheimer's is aggressive.
Yes.
Aggressive. And as a pharmacist for over 28 years, I was compassionate about that issue. And I really felt, don't kill me, a level of humanity or compassion towards him for caring for her in the home.
Yes.
Because that can be difficult, and we would all love for our loved ones to be able to age at home. And with Alzheimer's, especially advanced Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's, it can be very difficult to do that. So I know they have a level of income that probably could support that. So I was very happy that he was willing to do that and care for her at home. I did feel as a woman, now that's as a clinician, as a woman, I felt that I know for my own self, would love it if someone would intervene on my behalf and say, I do not want you to present my mom or my sister or my cousin to the world in this manner. You know that she did not have that face for the public, and there need to be some boundaries. We each have our public appearance, and I think that there need to be boundaries. So that I felt like we have to respect that. Is it okay? Almost exploitation, to exploit someone who cannot consent.
Right.
Yeah.
And that concerned me. So, and not about his lifestyle. I mean, of course, he's still alive. He's very much, he has a right. He's still alive. But I don't think the exploitation of B, I'll call it exploitation, is something that we're all comfortable with.
Right.
I don't. For me, if it happens, you all stand up. I'm telling you right now.
That's right.
I'm telling you right now. Let the record show. Y'all better show up at the front door.
The thing that really bothers me about it,
she would not have it.
and the thing that really bothers me about it is the blatancy of it. Because the other thing is that, it's not so much just because she is white.
You guys hear? Are we frozen?
A differentiation between how B was and how
I can't hear you guys at all.
Okay, you lost it.
You can hear me. Okay, yeah. So that was the one thing that bothered me the most is I just, if you're going to exploit people with Alzheimer's, who's next?
Yeah.
Who's next to be exploited? That was, irregardless whether you're my husband, who is next? There has to be some boundaries for people who cannot speak for themselves.
Yes.
So talk about your life and what you're doing, but it's not okay to involve someone who cannot consent.
Yes.
And that I thought was problematic. And I guess he has some legal issues because he's her husband. So legally, maybe he has that. But I think ethically, we have to say, is that all right as a person to be exploited who cannot speak for themselves? We all know her in the public eye, not personally. I don't know her personally, but in the public eye, like you said, Steve, very poised, this was her image that she projected. Yeah. And, she's still a lovable person. She's still a person of God either way, but she has not consented to this.
Yeah.
That's right.
Keisha, do you want to go in?
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. Listen, I was not there when B. Smith and Dan Gatsby, is that his name? Dan Gatsby?
Yeah, that's his name.
Made their marriage vows. I would imagine they said something like in sickness and in health. But okay, if they've discussed it and they decided together that they would put that aside, I'm not going to judge that.
Right.
I can say with certainty that those vows probably said something like, and I will honor you. And he is not showing her any honor whatsoever. He has his live-in girlfriend, who he's now calling his soulmate. That's the epitome of disrespect because he is still living, I would assume, on his wife's estate, right? No matter where the house is, whether it's in Sag Harbor or they sold the Sag Harbor house, he's living in the house that B built.
Yeah, the house that B built. Yeah.
He's living in the house that B built. He's brought this woman in, and now he's calling her his soulmate. He is having it videographed of this woman walking B around the block like she's a puppy. It's not right. Yes. You get on social media with a hashtag that says "Why lie?" Let me tell you the reasons why. One, because the moment I saw that, you disturbed my peace. I was sitting here in the comfort of my own home, and now my peace has been disturbed because you are dishonoring this queen. 2, because I could name about 50 sisters who are ready to burn the whole house down. It's absolutely unbelievable, intolerable to even witness. We should not be witnessing this. I'm with Dr. Drayvon. This is exploitation. It's exploitation. They're getting on a podcast. They're leveraging her good name. I get that taking care of a loved one who is ill is not easy. And I also know, as a 51-year-old woman, who was parentified at a very early age because my mother was ill at a young age, I've been a caretaker for years. And it wouldn't even occur to me or anyone in my circle to bring in a lover and parade the sick person around the nation. I feel it's just awful. It's really despicable. It is unconscionable. And it makes me believe that somewhere, whether consciously or unconsciously, he has been enraged at B's success. I think that's exactly what it is. And now here's the opportunity, whether it's being done consciously or unconsciously, for him to bring her down a notch, for him to publicly humiliate
her. That's a good point. It's almost like he's putting her in her place.
Putting her in her.
He was on The View today. And so of course, this was, I said, right on time before our show, because we knew we were going to be talking about this. And they asked him about the respect issue. He never answered the question. Right. He would keep talking about Alzheimer's, how she wanted the story told about Alzheimer's, and they would try to circle back around to, but did she sign off on wanting to be shown in this way? How do you know she's okay with this woman being in the house? And he just had all these rationalizations. It's not true she's living with us. She comes in 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. And then
he's changed that story then, I guess. He's changed that story.
But you know what? If she comes in, I don't care. And she helps out with B. Okay. But he still never directly addressed the issue of why do we have to see B in this way? And why do we have to see B with this woman? And to add insult to double injury to me, that woman was there in the audience. Now, I want to say this and make this perfectly clear to our white sisters who are listening to this broadcast, that, I want you to understand why this does add another layer for Black women. And, when you hear about Black girl magic and, Black women are having a moment now, but historically, do not get it twisted. Even today in 2019, Black women are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to how we are truly regarded and how we are treated. Now, there is a thing in our community about successful Black men. A lot of times you will see them married to white women. This is a thing. Black women are the most educated demographic in the country, and yet the statistics on our being coupled with Black men, not so great. Yeah. For whatever reason. And so this is a sensitive issue for us. And Dan is still a Black man. I don't care how he has lived in this successful life, Sag Harbor, all of that. He knows what this means. And he tried to say something. He tried to be defensive about that, to say, and this thing about people being upset because she's white. And, it was just like, man, come on.
For me, she could be purple.
Yeah.
My issue is she is who she is, and I'm sure she's acting in the character that she's acting in her own character, right? She didn't make any vows to be Smith. My issue and my focus is not on her. I don't care if she was white, Black.
Yeah, I agree with that, Keisha. Yeah. I actually have not considered her one moment, because I feel that she didn't make a vow to be. And let me just say this too, that when I talk about exploitation, maybe this is not the first time that something like this has happened. We don't know. I feel that the only reason that he has this audience is because of the hard work of this woman.
Absolutely.
And that is what when I talk about exploitation, because I don't want to get in a situation where I'm judging him, and he has a right to love and he has a right to all of those things. I don't begrudge any of that. I want him to go and have the best life possible. But as a person, any one of us could fall ill at any point in time. I think that we may not have the same audience that he would have. And that is because of the hard work this woman did. We all saw it in the public eye. And that is the thing I think that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. If you want to just love, then just love. Then
well,
just
the other issue is sharing. We're in an oversharing.
I think we're in an oversharing.
So,
yeah.
I was raised. So we have extremes. I was raised. What goes on in this house stays in this house.
Stays in this house. And
I was raised with that, and so that that there are issues with that. I mean, I do think there's benefit in us sharing with each other because it removes isolation. You find out that you aren't the only one. So there's benefits to sharing. But I think that then we can go the other extreme too, and there's oversharing. And that's where I think we are, because why do we have to know this? I don't see the benefit. The book that they wrote on Alzheimer's, that's one thing. Because that is a huge issue that is a hot topic in our society, and all of us are going to be touched by it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But this particular situation, I don't see any benefit in me knowing about it. I don't see any benefit in me seeing her deteriorate in this condition. I don't even see the benefit of that. I just think it's just something that he should have kept private.
Well, I know that he is definitely thinking only about himself.
I agree with you, Stephen A. This oversharing, and I can see it from all facets. Like if you had an agreement to share, to raise Alzheimer's awareness, that's different. But the raising of the Alzheimer's awareness then should be more focused on the stages and how it affects family dynamics. I get all that. But when we get into your personal life and maybe that's a part of it too, because you do as a caregiver, and as Keisha was saying, when you're a caregiver of someone who has a chronic illness, it does cause a need for emotional support for you as well. Right. I get that part too. I just think that maybe we're getting too intimate. We don't need to have this intimacy. Who is that to serve?
Right.
Who is that to serve?
That so there are two other examples that I'm aware of that were very public. Sandra Day OConnor, her husband had Alzheimer's, and he was in a home, Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day OConnor, and it came out in the news. This was several years ago, that he had a girlfriend in the facility that she had him in. Okay, I mean, and so that just came out. She didn't do the talk show circuit about it. She just, the family made a statement that they were aware of it. It was their business. And then I saw if you watch CBS Sunday Morning, which I highly recommend everybody does, but CBS Sunday Morning did a piece a few years ago. One of the journalists that reports for them, he did this story. He's a well-known journalist. His wife was a well-known journalist, and they had this happy marriage. And then she too was struck with early onset Alzheimer's. And so, he's telling the story about this woman, and then you find out that it's his wife. And then she's, he ended up, he couldn't no longer take care of her because he traveled and all of that. And so he did put her in a facility. And then at the end of the piece, he showed us his girlfriend, that he had formed a relationship with this other woman. But the way that story was told, they got a lot of, feedback from that show, both pro and con. But, it struck me differently. One, his wife was not living with him. He was very respectful. And I believe that Dan loves B. Smith. I'm like you, Draymond. I do think it's wonderful that he's been the caretaker for her.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, and so that's why it's even more curious to me that he has this disconnect on what respect looks like. That's why I don't, those two things don't go together. But that story on CBS Sunday Morning, that woman was not seeing him with this, you know, it was not the three of them all together every day or every other day or however they have it arranged. So that just was a little different for me, because I too don't, again, I don't have any problem or anything to say about that man needing companionship or even having companionship. I just think, like you said, that her leading B around is problematic, for a lot of reasons. And I do think that who she is adds another layer. She was on the show today on The View. Why did he bring her to the show? I thought that was unnecessary. She is just being put in our faces. And
he's believing that this is his soulmate. It's just incredibly disrespectful. I want to
his second soulmate.
I want to know where her friends are. Where are her friends? Where's her friends? Where are her family? Right? Where are these people? Because I'm surprised someone hasn't snatched him up and said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Yes.
Yeah, Linus, you wanted to say something?
Please.
Can you hear us, Linus?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm thinking maybe you couldn't hear me because I've tried several times. I couldn't get in.
I can't see Linus. Can you guys see her?
Yeah.
Oh, is that why, Drayvon, you couldn't see or hear me, huh?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to talk. But anyway, I had read that her friends have said something to him.
Oh, what did they say?
Mm.
Well, they said that they didn't like it. Would he please stop it? And then there's another group of friends who say, he's a great guy. He deserves to be happy. And for me personally, I don't think it has anything to do with whether he deserves to be happy or not. I think she deserves the respect. She deserves the respect. And I think it adds an extra layer. And I definitely do think he's leveraging that. And he's doing what he's doing to cause even more controversy, because the woman does happen to be of a different color than his wife. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. He comes from a background of promotion and marketing. He knows what he's doing, and he's leveraging it. So I think it's not just disrespectful. It's cold and calculating.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say, though, was that there was a movie that came out with James Garner. It was beautifully done a few years ago. And it was about his wife who got Alzheimer's. And then eventually she had to be in a home. And she was to the point where she really didn't remember him anymore. And she had struck up a relationship with someone else in the home. Yeah. And it was very beautifully done how he dealt with that. He loved her so much that he, learned to deal with that. But it's a very different kind of thing. She had Alzheimer's. This other person had Alzheimer's. Their memories are gone. They don't remember their spouses. I don't know if they were actually having sexual relations or not, but they were together as a couple holding hands and things like that. And he grew to accept that because he understood the disease and where his wife was at. But it wasn't like he was bringing his wife and her boyfriend home to live with him either. I mean, that would not be probably appropriate either. But in this particular case, when you read her book and she talks about the things that they want to do, like I said, she talked about the idea of wanting to see him be with someone as she progressed or as she died, but nothing about moving her in. Now, they're saying now that she is only there 3 times a week. Well, the first thing that I saw said that she was living there.
Right.
He said that she was living there. Yeah. So that just blew my mind, because that is not something that we normally would do. That's just not something we would do. And not only is it disrespectful, cold, and calculating, but I also think it does brandish him ultimately. There are a lot of people who are upset about this. So if his goal is to make a lot of money and promote this new brand, it might go for a little while because of the controversy. But over time, I think all that's going to slip away, because it is so obviously disrespectful.
Yeah, so I want to personalize this for our audience, because we are women of a certain age. We're in this midlife, the second half, and so one thing this has done though is bring up conversations. I mean, I immediately let my husband know. So I do want to hear from our audience. You know,
we got lots of comments.
Thought about
I was reading them.
You know, any kind. It doesn't have to be Alzheimer's. It can be any kind of illness.
Any kind of illness. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was Kathy.
Yeah. What does our audience think about this? Would you be okay with this? How do you want to? Yeah. The fact that she has a room in her house is an insult. That's exactly right. We'll tell you something. And Kathy, you can't respect the marriage. What is his hurry?
What is his hurry?
Yeah.
And then someone else, oh yeah, that's what you said. Yes, a black woman built her legacy, and this woman comes along and reaps all the benefits.
That's right. That's right. This is one of the things my mother told me, and she got this from a friend of hers. That the friend said that whenever she bought something new, she immediately wore it because if she died, she didn't want some other woman coming in wearing her stuff. And so
Roxanne Bradley said, "Hell to the no."
I like that, C. Renee. I'm gonna pick up for that. But I gotta say this too. I think it is a wake up call for all of us.
Yes.
It is a wake up call because we are building a legacy, but let's enjoy that.
Yes.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I mean, we really need to have, I'm so glad this is our topic, have the conversation because I let it be known too, C. Renee. Under no sir, am I okay with it?
And yes. And I'm letting my friends know. So there will be no confusion about what my wishes are. And to your point, Drayvon, women, if you are putting off anything,
that's it.
Let that shit go right now.
Say it one more time, C. Renee.
Let it go. If you are putting off any area of your life that you have a desire to you have a dream, you have a wish, you have a hope, you get a plan and start working your plan because we don't know. I mean, two of us in this group, Linus and I, both lost our mothers suddenly and unexpectedly. We don't know what is going to happen to us in the next few minutes.
That's right.
So
I love it, Deborah. I love it.
I already know. Get my shit. I understand.
Yeah,
that is definitely true.
And what I want to say is, even though watching this really does feel like a train wreck, it's very upsetting and very triggering. Anytime there's this collective consciousness and triggering on this type of level, that means there's a calling in this for us. And the calling is, if we could even, as women, take, especially women of a certain age, take 1%, like 1% of 1% of the selfishness that he's showing or the self-fullness that he's showing for himself and start applying it to our lives, just 1% of it.
Right.
We would be doing more.
So right. That is so right.
And this leads me to self-love explosion.
Yes.
Right now, today, do not wait. Find out about it. Get involved in it because neither of us know the day, the hour or the moment. We don't. Today, this presence is all that we have. And I agree. 1% of 1% of 1%. Whatever it is that you need to do to live your happy life now, do that.
Lisa,
okay, go on.
Go ahead, Lisa. Tell it like it is. I really think he isn't getting paid for doing this. I mean, offer her name.
His motivations are totally suspect. I'm trying to give him some benefit of the doubt on still caring, but it's hard. It's hard because of how he is defensive about it. It's almost like he needs us to sign off on his crap. And again, that's why I go back to, why do we even need to know about this?
Because there are caregivers all over the world who are taking care of all over the world. And we don't know this stuff. And I'm all for educating the people. But like C. Renee said, there is a thing of oversharing. And what is your motivation for oversharing?
Yeah.
We're all over the age of 21. We don't put all of our business on social media.
That's right. That's right. We don't. when the four of us, did the first self-love explosion event, that was the first time we were in each other's presence, and we got to really know each other. We shared some things with each other, and we said, right, this is what we shared right here, stays right here.
Right here.
So yeah,
right. It's not for social media.
Exactly. Yes, we're going to share some things as we do this tour from the stage and in our respective groups. But we're not sharing everything. Again, there are boundaries. The word boundaries still is a word for a reason. So, and there are boundaries we need to observe. So, thank you, Sandra.
Oh, Sandra, we cannot wait either.
We're hoping to be in Atlanta in May, so we're working on that schedule right now. So thank you for saying that. Yes, but we do want to bring this home for all of you because there are different things about this, conversations that we need to have with loved ones, but the conversation that you need to have with yourself that all four of us will sign off on to say that we are about helping you live the life you want to be living. And for all of you out there who have been focusing on other people in your life, other people's priorities, as you can see how that can turn, and there you go. So, you really want to have a conversation with yourself about where are you in your life. If you were struck down today by either some type of chronic illness or even by death, are you good with where you are right now in this world?
That's powerful.
If you are not, correct that. Whatever you need to let go, whatever blocks you need to remove. All of us do that work in a different space and can help you individually and collectively on our tour. But get your life. Get your life because
your life.
Get your life.
Yeah. Your life. Not your money.
Yeah.
Your life.
Your life.
You are the legacy. You, not the stuff. Not the stuff. And I hope along that journey that B. Smith, and I know she worked hard. You don't get that kind of success without working hard, but I hope she enjoyed it. I hope she laughed. I hope that she just had time with girlfriends. That's the best thing to me about this collaboration here is that we work really hard, but that we get to enjoy each other and kick back. And like Renee said, sit in the restaurant and cut up and just sit back and laugh.
Yes.
Have that moment of laughter and that enjoyment because none of us know.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this too. This just came to me. We may want to write it down and give it to somebody outside of our family.
Somebody could write this comment for me right now. That would never fly for me, ever.
Put that in your living will testament, whatever that is. Put that in your living will. No.
That would be a solid no.
Yes. Solid no. Solid no.
Yeah, but seriously, so I know we need to wrap up, and we always like to end the show on what we're celebrating for the week. And it's so good because today in my group, the Midlife Manifest, it is Celebration Day. I talked about celebrating all the time for every reason. We do birthdays, anniversaries, but we want you to start having a celebration mentality where you celebrate all the time for all kinds of reasons. So I am celebrating. I'll be last. Let me start with you, Keisha. What are you celebrating?
Okay. So most people know that I recently moved to this home in Florida, and developers are making me an offer. They want to buy the block, and so far the initial bid is double what I paid for my house. So I'm celebrating that I started going house hunting today.
Yes. And Ms. Lennis, what are you celebrating?
Oh, just being alive. Just glad to be alive today.
Yes. And being beautiful. So
well, thank you.
Yes. And Dr. Drayvon, what are you celebrating?
I am celebrating being graceful and mercy in the middle of the storm.
Yes.
I have had some trials and tribulations. And guess what I did? I challenged myself. I said, my trials and tribulations are external.
Yeah.
I'm peace.
Yes.
And so I did my whole diva thing on the inside, and I showed up. I showed up and showed out and walked through. So I want to encourage everybody. Everybody. That is my celebration. I'm going, oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love these women. Don't y'all love them? I love these women.
We love you.
Yes, we do. We do.
I am celebrating. Last week when we did this show, I mean, every time they would say something, we would laugh. I was in so much pain last week because of my back. And so I am celebrating that. I went to the doctor yesterday and got some treatment and a good drug, and I am feeling so much better.
Wonderful.
So I am celebrating that. And it was 77 degrees here in Birmingham, Alabama. It was
beautiful weather.
So I'm celebrating that too. And I'm celebrating all the women who have joined us and that we are able to do this every week. I am celebrating that.
Yes. Well, that was a good show.
Oh, it's a wonderful show.
Yes, so we will be back next week. I don't know our topic for next week, but let me just say, whatever it is, it's gonna be good. So. Yes. Well, all right. So, anything else, ladies, before we wrap up?
No, we love you. Bye.
And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube. Yes. So don't forget to subscribe, because if you can't be here live, then you will get the recording of the show. And we are trying to grow this show. So that's the link, bit.ly/livingwellwoman. That's how you subscribe on YouTube, and you can help us out. We'll get to blow this show up. So if you enjoyed what you're hearing, please subscribe. Thank you, Deborah.
And put in topics that you'd like for us to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Limits. Nothing is off limits.
Nothing.
Yeah. We're brilliant. We can talk about anything.
We are brilliant.
Wow. And we're pretty bold, too.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for tuning in to Living Well Women. Join us next time when we will discuss other topics of holistic living. Nothing is off limits when it comes to sisters supporting sisters. Please subscribe to our YouTube page by clicking the link below so you can stay updated on all the details when it comes to being a holistic living well sister.